everyone, hope you all are fine. Welcome to the English Academy. In this video, I'm going to explain Act 1, Scene 3 of A Christmas Carol, written by Charles Dickens. Explanation of Scene 1 and 2 is also available on the channel. So let's start the Scene 3. It has got multiple locations, in which first one is Scrooge's apartment, then a country lane, an old schoolhouse, Mr. Fezziwig's office, and another office. After a short time, a bell tolls once. Scrooge jumps out of from his bed, looking all around. He sees nothing. Enough! Gather yourself, Scrooge, for goodness sake. You are shaking like a leaf, and for what? Three spirits? Well, let them come. If they will, I will not give them occasion to trouble me. Scrooge turns towards his bed to see that a figure has appeared. It is the ghost of Christmas past. Students, if you remember in the last scene, Jacob Marley was there. The ghost of Jacob Marley was there, who told Scrooge that there will be three spirits this night going to visit him and will tell something about his past, present, and future. So here comes the first spirit, which is of Christmas past. Scrooge lifts the poker like a sword. Are you the spirit whom Jacob Marley wanted me of? I am. Scrooge realizes how silly he looks and lowers the poker. Who? What are you? I am the ghost of Christmas past. Your Christmas is past. You need not have come, spirit. I have no wish to revisit my past. The spirits look at him. What do you want from me? I want nothing of you. I ask nothing of you. And I require nothing from you. Therefore, you have had a wasted journey. Our journey has not yet begun. Our journey? I was told that I would be visited by three spirits. I was not informed that I would be required to make any journey. No, this simply will not do. I demand that you leave at once. Abby, this is my property and what did you call me? The spirit smiles at Scrooge. Spirit, the weather, the hour, and least of all my dressing gown are not adapted to pedestrian or other purposes. Right here in this scene, finally, the first ghost of Christmas past arrived, and Scrooge was really shocked to see him. And he was even more shocked when Christmas past asked him that they are supposed to begin a journey. So Scrooge said that there wasn't anything about he never knew about any of the journey. Marley only told him that three spirits will visit him. So past called or Scrooge with a name called Abby, and he was so surprised to hear that. The spirit's hand is outstretched. She smiles. Scrooge tentatively takes the spirit's hand. Scrooge and the spirit find themselves in a country lane. I know this place. This is where I grew up. This is the very lane in which the boys used to play cricket. So finally, they are there in Scrooge's past, and let's see what the Christmas past have to show to Scrooge. You played cricket? Well, not really. I mean, school is for learning, academia. I was a scholar. I excelled at Latin and mathematics. I was here to learn, not to play. You would have liked to have played. I would not. Well, perhaps. A boy walks by them as if they were not there. Look, that boy was in my dormitory. Joseph Wiggins, Joseph. He cannot hear you. What are you talking about? He is standing but 5 feet from me, Joseph Wiggins. He cannot hear you. We are the shadows in your past. Not a soul will see or hear you. We are here only to observe, not to communicate. Now come with me. Scrooge was actually calling a boy. He used to play cricket with him. His name was Joseph Wiggins. Scrooge calls him louder, but Christmas. Ghost of Christmas past told him that they are not supposed to communicate. Rather, they are only there to observe. No one can see them, no one can hear them, nor they do, but they can only observe. Where are we going? The spirit looks away from Scrooge. Ah, the schoolhouse. Yes, that was more my dwelling, my place of study, and I excelled at it. I was always told so. Dwelling means residence. You were happy? Happy? Yes, yes, of course I was happy. I see a shadow of a boy alone and crying in the schoolroom at Christmas. He is far from his home and from his sister while his classmates return home to make merry with family. Young Scrooge enters the stage and sits on his desk. He cries. Old Scrooge approaches him and is clearly moved. Yes, I suppose that perhaps I was not as happy as I would have wished. You must see that boy. I do not wish to see him, Scrooge cries. Why do you cry? He is just a boy. I was just a boy. I wish, but no, it is too late now. What is it? There was a lad at my office last night singing a carol. I wish I had given him something, that's all. Scrooge looks again at young Scrooge and turns to leave. Fan comes running into the schoolroom. Young Scrooge sees her and rises, embracing his sister. Abby, Scrooge turns and sees Fan. Fan, what are you doing here? Oh, Abby, I have the most wonderful news. What is it, Fan? What? It's father. Oh, Abby, I don't think you would believe it unless you saw it for yourself. He is changed. It's all the different now at home. I have come to bring you back. What? How? I don't understand. He's kinder now, gentler. He doesn't get cross anymore. And 2 nights ago, he was tucking me into bed, and I took a chance and asked if you could come home for Christmas, and he said yes. In the past, Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Past are seeing that there is a boy who was crying in the schoolroom, and the reason was that all the students went for Christmas holiday, but there was no one came to pick Scrooge up from the school. But finally, they saw that Scrooge's sister Fan arrived, and she has got a very wonderful news that Scrooge's father has been changed now. He was bit of a strict person, but now he is kinder and gentler. Even he tucked Fan into bed some days before, and taking the advantage of the opportunity, Fan asked her father that may Scrooge come to spend Christmas with them, and the father said yes, yes. And Scrooge was very much surprised. What? Yes, he even arranged for me to come in a carriage and collect you. Oh, my darling brother, we are going to have the most splendid Christmas this year. Quickly come now, get your things. It's time to come home. They embraced once more, then ran off excitedly, leaving Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Past alone. Did this not prove to be a happy Christmas for you? Happy? Well, yes, yes, it was. You look happy. My dear friend, my beautiful sister, she was a wonderful girl. She was your only sister? Pass asked. Yes. She is dead now. Yes. She had a son, did she not? Your nephew? Fred. It is only now I see her in him. How did I not see it before? If you remember that in scene 1, Fred was the one who arrived at his Scrooge's office in order to invite him for a Christmas party, but Scrooge harshly denied him and said him that it is only a wastage of time and he is not going to attend any as such party. It is time for you to see another Christmas, Abby. Please, Spirit. That name is no longer my name is. The Spirit's voice is now different. Ebenezer Scrooge, Spirit, I recognize that voice. It's Ebenezer Scrooge. Scrooge and the Spirit find themselves at the office of Mr. Fezziwig. A Christmas party is in full swing. Mr. Fezziwig is talking enthusiastically with party guests. Now the location has been changed from the schoolhouse. Now Christmas past and Scrooge are in Fezziwig's office in which a Christmas party is going on. And I want to make you remember one thing that it is all about Scrooge's past. All these events have already been happened. It is only a recall, or you can say it is only a flashback of his past, right? Scrooge, look, it's old Fezziwig, my old boss. He looks exactly as I remember him. Ebenezer Scrooge, young Scrooge comes rushing in, clutching papers. Yes, Mr. Fezziwig. If you don't put down that work this instant, Mr. Fezziwig, sir, I have noticed an irregularity in one of the accounts. Really, should I be concerned? Well, sir, in the last year, due to an oversight on our part, Mr. McGregory's account is in debt to us by a total of 9 pence. Good Lord, Mr. Scrooge, run out this instant and fetch me the Bow Street runners. Young Scrooge turns on his heels and runs as Mr. Fezziwig breaks into laughter. Haha, old Fezzik, he was fantastic. He could have you laughing 1 minute and crying the next. Look at me, I was rather wet behind the ears. Young Scrooge runs back to Mr. Fezzik. Mr. Fezzik, you are mocking me, aren't you? Oh, come along now, Mr. Scrooge. Your devotion to me and this company is a delightful thing to see. You are a loyal employee and a good friend, and tonight we are celebrating that. That is what Christmas is all about. Put down those papers and come and join me. Young Scrooge smiles. Very well, Mr. Fezzik. While the party was going on, Scrooge came rushing to Mr. Fezzik. He was having some papers in his hand. He actually found a mistake in the accounts, but Mr. Fezzik was not very welcoming to that incident while in the party. According to Mr. Fezzik, it is the time to enjoy. He asked Scrooge to put down all the papers and enjoy the party. Look, young, look, it's old Fezzik. Young Scrooge put down the paperwork and notices a young lady talking to some other guest. Young Scrooge approaches Mr. Fezzik, who is talking now with Mrs. Fezzik. Mr. Fezzik, who is that lady? Oh, this is Mrs. Fezzik, darling. This is Mr. Scrooge. I have told you about him, haven't I? Oh, yes, you have. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Scrooge. Mr. Fezzik has told me a lot about you, quite a bright future ahead of you, if I am to believe everything I am told. Well, I'm not sure about nonsense, Ebenezer. You are a bright young man, and that's for sure. Thank you, Mr. Fezzik. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Fezzik. And now, what about Belle Winkleworth? Young Scrooge looks confused. That is the name of the young lady you were inquiring about? Oh, no, no, you misunderstand. I wasn't, I was just Miss Winkleworth, you say. That's right. Why don't you go over and introduce yourself? She could do a lot worse than you. Oh, no, I couldn't. I mean, what would I say? Just say hello. She is a lovely girl. Yes, go. Go on, let. Why not? Yes, you are right. Why not? I'll go over and I will say, good evening. I am Mr. Scrooge, or should I say Ebenezer? I will say Ebenezer, and when I do, I shall kiss her hand. But then she might take offense and scream, Mr. Fezzik, what do I do if she screams? Good heavens, he is mad. So right here in this scene, Scrooge met Mrs. Fezzik and she was talking to a beautiful young girl. Her name was Bells Winkleworth and Mrs. Fezzik asked Scrooge to go to the girl and introduce himself. Scrooge was a bit nervous, but in the end, he went there. Mr. Fezzik takes young Scrooge by the arm and drags him towards Belle. Miss Winkleworth, Mr. Scrooge. Young Scrooge and Belle greet each other and begin to dance together during the following exchange. Spirit, I no longer wish to be here. Right here, after this scene, when Scrooge had encountered Belle's Winkleworth and they were having a dance in the party, Scrooge asked Paz that he does not want to see ahead. That's enough. Past. What is it about this woman that has brought about such a sudden change? That is my business and my business alone. I wish to leave. This is happy time for you. Is it not happy? That's an understatement. This was the happiest night of my life. Look at her. What happened? Do you delight, spirit, in making me relive this pain? Is that your true purpose tonight? Am I being punished to see her again is both thrilling and painful in equal measure. If you wish to punish me, consider it done. I'm not here to punish you. I wish to help you. What happened? Scrooge was very reluctant to see his past ahead because there was an unhappy memory associated with it. So he was kept on insisting past that he does not want to see ahead. And a spirit was there, was actually asking him that what was the reason behind it. Why don't you want to see ahead your past? What happened? You were looking so happy with the girl. Then what happened? After a short time, we were engaged, but nothing has ever gone right for me. I loved her and she left. And why did she leave? Enough. I cannot watch this any longer. We have one more visit to make before we finish, and then I must leave. You, what? In a changed voice, goodbye, Ebenezer. Sprit eye, Scrooge and the Sprit find themselves in an office. So this was the reason that did not want to see his past anymore. They were Belle and Scrooge were engaged for some time, but the things did not go well with them, and they parted their ways. And how did all this happen? Let's see and read ahead. Young Scrooge is sitting at his desk counting his money. He barely pays attention to Bill. Well, goodbye, Ebenezer. Very well, I shall see you tonight. No, you do not understand. I came to tell you that. Can this not wait, Bill? I have Mr. Marley arriving at any moment, and it's a very important meeting. Mr. Marley is of a certain character, and this cannot wait. Of course it can. I have business in the office today and tomorrow and the next day. Young Scrooge finally looks up. What are you talking about? Without the business, we would have no money. Would you prefer to be poor? I would have preferred us to be happy. Are you happy, Ebenezer? Truly happy? Are you not? You must understand that this is an important time in my business, Bell. I have to make small sacrifices or the business shall suffer. Small sacrifices? I do not recognize you anymore. You have become so blinded to anything that does not yield you a profit. What are you talking about? Tell me, Ebenezer, if you had your life over, if you could go back knowing, then what you know now would you choose a doorless girl, one who could offer you no gain? Yes, I would. You think not. I would gladly think otherwise if I could. I hope the mistress who has replaced me makes you happy, Ebenezer. Mistress? Belle, have you gone mad? There is no one but you. Young Scrooge stands and in doing so knocks coins onto the floor. He bends to pick them up. That used to be true. Now there is only one love in your life. I was trying to build a business, and I will never be as important as her. I wanted the best for you. And so I release you, Ebenezer, with a full heart for the love of him you once were. Stop her, you fool! Bell exits. Young Scrooge turns and returns to his desk. Scrooge stares at young Scrooge. You will find yourself quite alone in the world. Come home, Ebenezer. Scrooge finds himself in his bed again alone. So in the last scene of in the last scene, we came to know that there was a heated argument between Scrooge and Bell. Bell wanted Scrooge's time. Scrooge wanted to give more to his business. He was thinking all about building his business. He was having no time to give to Bell, no time to build his relations, no time to go to people, talk them, having sharing happiness with them. And he was such busy in those things that he eventually lost Bell, and this is the memory which made him quite unhappy and sad as well. And by the end of this scene, we are done with Act 1 Scene 3 and the Christmas past, and Ebenezer Scrooge again head back to home, and Scrooge finds himself again in his bed alone. So this was all about scene 3, in which we came to know that Ghost of Christmas Past arrived. He showed Scrooge some memories of from his past, in which first one of his schoolhouse, where his sister arrived to take him from the school for the Christmas holiday. Then we learned about a Christmas party which was going on in Mr. Fezziwig's office, where he met Belle and he was engaged with her, but somehow their relationship did not work due to uh, Scrooge's interest towards business more. Um, so that's why it was an unpleasant memory from his past. So that's all from this video. In our next video we will read Act 1 Scene 4. Till the next video, take care. Bye bye.